Hello, everybody. As part of our main Council Connect, we're interviewing Julie Briggs. Julie is the CEO of ReRock, R-E-R-O-C. I'll leave it to Julie to explain that acronym. Bardia Perry was appointed to ReRock's Specialist Native Title Panel last year, and so we're delighted to be able to feature ReRock in this issue. So welcome, Julie.
Thank you, David. And it's the Riverina Eastern Regional Organisation of Councils.
Right, so obviously based down in southwest New South Wales?
Yes, yeah, ReRock's in the eastern, obviously, as it says, in the Eastern Riverina of New South Wales. The organisation started way back in 1994 when a group of councils, led by Wagga Wagga, decided that it would make a lot more sense to work together than apart, to collaborate on a whole range of different issues. So they formed the organisation with the view to really focusing on resource sharing in councils, ways in which we could share resources or pull together to create economies of scale and scope to generate savings for the member councils.
And who are the member councils of ReRock?
At the moment, the member councils are Bland, Coolaman, Cootamundra Gundagai, Lockhart, Junee, and Temora and Greater U. Golden Fields Water and Riverina Water, of course. We forgot our water county councils, but yes, so there are 9 member councils at the moment, and they've been pretty much the same councils since its inception. We've had a variety of membership over the years, basically courtesy of state government mergers of local government. So our footprint has remained pretty much the same, but the councils have changed a bit. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so you're in the Murrumbidgee irrigation area, is that?
Yeah, it's sort of pretty much, but a bit east of that. So there's no irrigation here to speak of really in our region, whereas, you know, west, the councils have big issues around water and irrigation. But for our councils, most of our areas are sort of dry area cropping, that kind of farming. So not a lot of irrigation, but you know, like I said, it's all about, you know, where can we work together best? And the Native Title Panel is a good example of what ReRock does, is that local government got given responsibility for Crown lands 2 years ago. And one of the big issues that all of our councils and planners were talking about was their lack of knowledge and experience in the native title area. And we said, well, what can we do about this, given that, you know, these issues don't arise very often for councils? So we embarked on some training for the councils, but we also said, look, we need an expert panel of people that councils can go to get advice when they need it. And so ReRock facilitated the documentation for to seek expressions of interest to be on the expert panel. The expert panel was put together, and then we maintain a website where the members can log in and get the details of the expert panel, and then they can go and ask for the expert advice that they need. So it's probably a pretty good example of the ways in which ReRock tries to facilitate making it easier for councils to do what they need to do.
Okay, so I suppose you might describe what ReRock's doing is finding regional solutions for local problems.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. Now, and I suppose the native title / Crown land issue is one example, I suppose, of a regional initiative in response to a particular problem. Can you tell us what other types of projects ReRock's initiating?
Well, anything where it makes more sense for the councils to work together than apart, you will probably find ReRock there. So we run a vast range of initiatives, everything from a youth leadership forum that we ran which we run annually, and we ran it at the end of March. We had about 150 students of that from right across our region, we facilitate the collection of e-waste in our region. and we bring it into Wagga to a supported employment program that does the processing. We run skills initiatives. We have for 15 years run a program called Build a Bridge and Get Over It. And we take students away for 3 days to a camp to learn how to be engineers, to know what a career in engineering is like. And they are broken up into teams, and they actually design a bridge, and then they actually build the bridge over a running creek and walk over that bridge to collect their awards. And that's designed to address skill shortages in civil engineering in local government. And we've had maybe 280 students through the program. About 30% of them have gone on to be civil engineers. So we do that kind of thing. We run training programs for counsellors, training programs for staff. We also run a number of conferences. We run No Time to Waste, which is our annual waste conference. We run Mapped Out, which has our annual spatial data conference. I love spatial data. And we also run a conference on energy management in local government. We do that every second year. We run a planners workshop. So we do quite a lot of very diverse things. If you wanted a career in, never knowing what you're going to do from one day to the next, ReRock would be where you would land. Okay,
sounds absolutely fascinating, and such a wide variety of initiatives there. So obviously, again, you're responding to opportunities and challenges. What do you see in forecasting in the next 12 months? Where do you think most of ReRock's enthusiasm and resources will be pushed?
Right. Over the next 12 months will be interesting. We're just finishing up a really large project we've managed called Southern Lights, New South Wales. We worked with 3 other joint organisations that work with councils to roll out energy efficient lighting. Over 75,000 lights we've rolled out, working with Essential energy efficient lighting from Bega to Broken Hill. We've rolled it out, 41 local government areas. That's taken a lot of time and energy. Now we're looking at integrating smarts into those, smart technology. We've been running expressions of interest on sensors that can be plugged into the lights. So we'll be looking to do more of that. We do quite a lot of advocacy and lobbying. So we'll be looking at issues that are impacting on councils, things like the emergency services levy, changes in government policy. We're doing quite a lot of work in regional housing shortages at the moment. There's an enormous housing shortage out in our region, but not just our region. I think almost every region in New South Wales is suffering from critical housing shortages, not just affordable housing, any kind of housing. I've got some of the members that I represent, there isn't a house for rent in their LGA, let alone a house and there's hardly any houses to buy. So we're very engaged in that. I think that will take quite a lot of time and energy for us. And, and we, as I've said before, we do the annual conferences, which are a great way for our staff and counsellors, and I mean, we attract people from everywhere, but we run them because they're a great professional development activity for our staff and for the counsellors in the communities we represent. So we'll be, focused on trying to get really innovative speakers into so that our people can see the latest in what's available.
Right. Well, perhaps some of our audience with Council Connect might be able to contribute to some of those things, because of course it's very important for the regions to cooperate, and as you say, the housing issue, for example, is not confined to one particular regional part of regional New South Wales. It's right throughout. So hopefully, picking up on the theme, we can build some bridges there.
Yes, we love to build bridges, David.
Okay, and the recent floods, have they been an issue for ReRock, or has that been more confined to the individual councils?
No, not a specific issue for down here. It was an issue a few years back, but at the moment, the drought's been a very big issue for us until it broke last year. But we did quite a lot of work trying to support our communities in that area. We work quite closely with the Rural Financial Counselling Service to ensure that and our councils were disseminating information on support services, on things like the farm household allowance, those kinds of things to try and keep our communities ticking over. But the floods, no, thank goodness. Although, it is droughts and flooding rains, isn't it? So it's raining today in Wagga Wagga where I am. So let's hope that it doesn't happen.
Yeah, look, we've had enough of natural disasters and so on, I think.
We have had enough of the extremes, David, that's for sure.
Indeed. And so there's obviously lots to be proud there about ReRock's functions, and you're obviously doing an enormous amount for the community. I know one of your projects is a thing called Start Your Business Here. Is that right? That's encouraging people to start home-based and small businesses.
Yeah, that was a project we started a few years ago with some federal funding. And what we're aiming to do is to encourage people to look at what they, at the regulations that will impact on the business that they want to run, to try and capture them before they get too far down the road. The user goes in and answers a series of questions about the business they want to run, and they then can download information from state agencies and from local government to tell them what they actually need to do to help run their business. Say you wanted to run a business at home, and it asks you a question: are you going to have a lot of cars coming and going? And you might say yes, I'm going to have more than 10 a day. And then there'll be a little notice that comes up and says, look, this is not suitable for a home-based business. You really need to think about doing something else. So it tries to flag issues as you go along before people get too far along the way. So it's designed to try and help people to make informed decisions about where they start their business and what they need to do to comply. Because quite often people, get so enthusiastic about starting a business, and then, all of a sudden somebody's telling them, no, you had to go to council and get permission to put up that sign. No, you can't put tables out on the pavement, or, and what do you mean? That was my plan. So the idea is to be, forewarned is forearmed. So it's about a planning thing, really. And then what they can do is they can take the information, they can print it off, and then they can take it to council and talk about the issues that have arisen as a result of doing the Start Your Business Here.
Well, I imagine with the kind of the population movement towards the regions, I guess as a result of COVID and being more able to work remotely and do business remotely, that will be a very important target for ReRock to keep enhancing and supporting.
Yeah, yes,
Julie,
absolutely.
So you're the CEO of ReRock. What do you like about your job? What's the best thing about being the CEO?
Oh, the diversity of work. And I have do have a great board and a great group of councils to work with. The thing about local government is that it is the government that's closest to the people. I'm fortunate to work with a group of mayors and general managers who really want to make the communities that they live in a better place to live. And they really all want to work together to try and make that happen at a regional level. I think that's great. I think, sometimes you do get really great projects like Southern Lights, where a group of us decided it would be great to improve street lighting. It was started as a street lighting improvement program, and it ended up being the largest rollout of energy efficient lighting in Australia, because what happened was it was the catalyst for Essential Energy to roll out all of its energy efficient lighting to every street light in its footprint, which is about 165,000 street lights. That will be finished probably by the middle of next year. And so just as a result of us, a group of us sitting around the table and saying, let's do this, I wish it was actually that easy, because it was quite a long-winded project it's been, but sometimes you can start with a small idea and you can make amazing things happen. Build a bridge and get over it is another good example of that we thought we would like to try and encourage people to go into engineering, and it's been very successful at doing that. So and I guess that shows the diversity of the work that we do, everything from a street lighting program that runs from Bega to Broken Hill to, watching teenagers walk over a bridge they built. to get a certificate and hopefully go on to engineering at university shows sort of the diversity of the work that we do. So never a dull day here, never.
Well, that is all very inspiring, Julie. I've got to say, all those innovative projects that you and the collaboration between your constituent councils and other organisations is really something that I think is really engenders enthusiasm. So I better let you get back to it.
Yes.
Because clearly you've got a lot on your plate, but obviously enjoying it very much. So, Julie, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you,
for
David.
telling us a bit about ReRock and also to take the message out to our council audience, our local government audience. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you, David. It's been a pleasure.